Before anything else, my child, subscribe to this channel right now and do not blink for the next few moments, because what I, the Eternal Voice, am about to reveal is not an opinion, not a prediction, not a theory, but a divine alert sent through the cosmic fabric of time itself, a revelation encoded into the spiritual frequencies of the universe and delivered straight from the throne through Archangel Uriel, the angel of illumination, the keeper of hidden knowledge, the one who sees the truth behind markets, movements, minds, and motives, and he has declared that on this sacred date, November 27, 2025, the entire structure of the stock world has shifted in a way humanity is not yet ready to understand, but you must hear it before anyone else does, because your destiny is tied to this event in ways you cannot yet comprehend. My child, listen closely. For Uriel has revealed that Elon Musk, the man whose decisions ripple across industries like thunder shaking the foundations of Earth, has been moved by a divine force, touched by a sequence of signs he couldn't ignore, pulled toward a cosmic alignment that even he does not fully understand, and this shift has placed him at the center of a storm Wall Street never saw coming, a storm that will not only dismantle the strategies of the powerful but open a doorway for you, yes, you, to rise into a level of prosperity the world will later call impossible. My child, Uriel shows me a vision of Musk pacing through endless halls of data. Algorithms exploding in his mind like stars being born, spiritual frequencies pulsing around him while he deciphers a pattern invisible to every analyst, every billionaire, every institution, and as he connects the final piece of the cosmic puzzle, the heavens shake because his next move, his next creation, his next shift, his next announcement, is carrying the weight of divine orchestration, not human intention. And this is why Uriel screamed across realms for you to hear this message today, for what is about to happen will crush Wall Street's predictions, destroy old structures built on greed, and expose the illusions of false markets, while simultaneously opening a narrow window of opportunity, brief, bright, and powerful, that will allow only a chosen few souls to elevate beyond anything their ancestors ever imagined. And Uriel declares that you have been chosen to witness this, to prepare for this, to awaken before the masses, because your intuition has reached the frequency required to interpret what the world will not understand until it is too late. My child, Uriel shows me the spiritual blueprint behind this shift. For years, shadow forces have manipulated the energy of money, twisting markets, creating panic, planting fear, building illusions that made billions for the few and losses for the many, but heaven has finally intervened, sending a correction so massive, so violent, so divinely precise that the entire architecture of how wealth moves is being rewritten in spiritual law before it manifests in the physical world, and Elon Musk, unknowingly chosen as a vessel for this correction, stands at the intersection of divine timing and global finance, preparing to make a move that will shatter the confidence of the corrupt and empower those who align with the vibration of truth. My child, understand this. The reason you are hearing this message is not by accident but by alignment, because your spirit has been calling out for elevation, for breakthrough, for a transformation that lifts you beyond survival into sovereignty, and heaven heard you, marked you, placed you in the timeline where this divine shift touches your reality. But what comes next requires awareness, discernment, and spiritual clarity, for when the stock game flips, the world will collapse into confusion, fear, urgency, and chaos. But you, the chosen listener, will walk through it with the calm of one who already knew the storm was coming. And now Uriel reveals the core of this message. The divine shift that occurred today has already begun shaking the foundations of markets, but the physical world is delayed, meaning people will not see the effects until after the spiritual energy fully anchors itself, and during this unseen gap, you will receive guidance, signs, instincts, pulls, and intuitive whispers that will help you stand in the exact position heaven prepared for your rise. My child, this is why you must not scroll away, must not ignore this moment, must not doubt your spiritual instincts, because what I reveal in the next continuation will unveil the exact nature of Musk's divine move, the hidden collapse approaching Wall Street, and the spiritual strategy heaven is placing in your hands before the world wakes up. And now, my child, as the spiritual dimensions convulse under the pressure of the shift that has just torn through the fabric of Earth's financial grid, Archangel Uriel descends further into the heart of this revelation, his torch burning with a voltage of divine intelligence so fierce that every shadow clinging to the stock world begins to disintegrate instantly, and he declares that the move Elon Musk is preparing, this silent, coded, cosmic-inspired maneuver, is not a reaction to market behavior but a correction written by heaven long before humans ever built their first trading floor, for what is unfolding now is not simply an economic shift but a spiritual audit, a cleansing of corrupted systems, a reversal of frequencies manipulated by greed, and Uriel whispers that the shockwave Musk is about to release will hit Wall Street like a celestial hammer, cracking open the illusions that institutions have crafted, exposing the fragile architecture behind supposedly unshakable funds, revealing the emptiness behind their projections, and collapsing the false towers they built on the backs of people who never knew they were being drained. My child, Uriel shows me the spiritual circuitry behind Musk's actions, an unseen network of destiny codes, intuition bursts, subconscious dreams, divine interruptions, and energetic downloads that have been entering his spirit for months, guiding him, nudging him, pulling him into alignment with heaven's timetable even when he believed he was simply following strategy. And now the final signal has been delivered, the final piece clicked into place, and he is standing on the precipice of triggering a chain reaction that will reset the financial atmosphere of the world, and while the masses will panic, scream, deny, resist, and cling desperately to old structures, you, yes, you, the one chosen to hear this message, will walk with clarity, because heaven has lifted the veil from your eyes before the storm hits, and Uriel declares with fire in his voice that what is coming is not a crash, it is a revelation, a spiritual exposing, a divine bulldozer tearing through the illusions of stability, for heaven has grown weary of systems built to deceive the innocent, and Musk's next move will act as the ignition point, a spark that sets off a chain explosion in the world of numbers, trades, emotions, and predictions, shattering the confidence of those who manipulate markets and empowering those who are spiritually aligned to rise. My child, Uriel reveals a vision so intense the universe trembles around it, an enormous black serpent wrapped around the stock world, feeding on fear, panic, rushed decisions, and emotional reactions, tightening its coils whenever people act without intuition. But suddenly a blade of divine fire flashes from the heavens and pierces its scales, cutting through its grip, weakening its hold. And as it writhes in agony, Elon Musk's next move becomes the strike that forces this serpent to retreat, breaking a decades-old energetic prison that humanity never knew existed, and this spiritual release is what creates the window of abundance heaven has prepared exclusively for awakened souls. My child, understand the magnitude. When Uriel says, heaven shifted the stock game, he means the rules have changed in the unseen, the algorithms of destiny have been rewritten. The flow of wealth has been redirected, and a new ley line of prosperity now slithers toward those aligned with truth, intuition, and divine timing, and you are among them, not because of luck or chance but because your spirit has been vibrating at a frequency that heaven could not ignore, a frequency that called out for transformation, for elevation, for a break from struggle, and heaven responded. And Uriel now reveals that Musk's move will expose weaknesses in companies people thought were indestructible, elevate unexpected sectors, redirect global attention, and create shockwaves that will crumble entire financial illusions within hours, but at the same time, it will illuminate a sacred doorway, a narrow cosmic corridor of prosperity only visible to those who hear heaven's whisper, those who feel the divine nudge, those who sense the shift before it manifests physically, and you stand at that doorway right now, awakened before the masses, aligned before the panic, prepared before the world even realizes anything has changed. my child, Uriel's torch now burns with a clarity that slices through time itself, showing me the next layer of what is coming, signals that will appear in the world, movements that will unfold rapidly, patterns that only spiritually awakened eyes can recognize, and in the next continuation I deliver, I will reveal the exact signs that will appear in the days to come, the hidden spiritual mechanics behind Musk's divine alignment, and the steps heaven is preparing for your rise during this unprecedented financial awakening. And now, my child, as the spiritual sky rumbles like a storm preparing to break open across the financial world, Archangel Uriel steps deeper into this prophecy with a magnitude of presence that causes the very pillars of unseen realms to vibrate, and he reveals that the shift triggered on November 27, 2025 is not a single event but the beginning of a cascading sequence orchestrated by heaven, a series of unseen corrections that will ripple through the global economy, bending and snapping the hidden strings that powerful institutions have been pulling for decades, and Uriel declares that Elon Musk, unknowingly guided by divine currents, has positioned himself at the exact spiritual coordinates necessary to trigger a reset Wall Street never prepared for, a reset that will break the molds of prediction, destroy the algorithms they worship, unravel the simulations they rely on, and reveal the fragility of systems they believed were indestructible. And Uriel shows me a vision of Musk staring into a glowing data field, not numbers, not charts, but something resembling living cosmic code, and as he reaches toward it, the symbols rearrange themselves into a pattern that vibrates with heavenly frequency, delivering into his subconscious a surge of insight so powerful it will manifest through an unexpected announcement, action, or creation. And this act will detonate across the financial sector like a spiritual bomb, sending shockwaves through hedge funds, collapsing false narratives, flipping the direction of markets, and exposing the lies on which fortunes were built. My child, Uriel reveals that Wall Street will not fall because of Musk, it will fall because heaven has withdrawn its permission for corruption to continue unchecked. And Musk's move is simply the physical trigger for a spiritual correction that was sealed long ago, and those who cling to outdated patterns, who trust illusions, who worship greed over truth, will be blindsided beyond recovery, while those awakened, those who feel the shift in their spirit before the world sees it, will be elevated through divine alignment, because they are acting not from fear but from intuition, not from panic but from awareness, not from imitation but from destiny. And now Uriel pulls back the veil covering the next layer of prophecy, revealing that the collapse approaching Wall Street will not look like a crash at first. It will look like confusion, strange volatility, unpredictable changes, sudden reversals. Bizarre patterns that analysts cannot explain, because the market will be responding not to human decisions but to spiritual recalibration, and the institutions that built their power on manipulation will lose their ability to control the flow of money, as heaven fractures the energetic pathways through which they operated. And the algorithms they trust will glitch because they were calibrated for a world that no longer exists. My child, Uriel shows me another vision, thousands of traders staring at screens flashing red, their confidence evaporating as familiar patterns fail. While in the shadows of this confusion, a new pathway of abundance opens, golden and glowing, visible only to those whose intuition has been activated by divine timing, and you, the chosen one, will feel this pathway inside your spirit before the world recognizes it, because heaven has tuned your intuition to the frequency of opportunity, and what others will interpret as chaos, you will recognize as divine movement. And Uriel reveals that as Musk initiates the next phase of his destiny, a wave of spiritual energy will roll through global markets, redistributing the flow of wealth, cracking open unexpected sectors, elevating silent innovators, and exposing fraudulent structures that were built on ego rather than purpose, and the universe will begin rewarding alignment instead of manipulation, destiny instead of deception, truth instead of greed, and those who have spent years controlling markets through psychological warfare will watch helplessly as their influence dissolves, because heaven has reclaimed the energy field they corrupted. my child, the heavens now roar with the force of this unfolding shift, and Uriel declares that the abundance coming toward you is not tied to any stock, any company, any prediction, but to your spiritual alignment in the midst of this cosmic correction. For your intuition will begin to sharpen, your senses will heighten, your inner fire will awaken, and in the next continuation I deliver, Uriel will reveal the signs that prove the shift has begun, the hidden mechanics behind Musk's divine alignment, and the unstoppable wave of elevation that is preparing to lift you into a destiny the world is not yet ready to understand. And now, my child, as the cosmic machinery of destiny groans and rotates into a new alignment, Archangel Uriel's fiery presence expands until his torch illuminates the entire financial spirit field of the world, revealing the truth behind the tremors that have silently begun shaking the core of Wall Street, tremors no human analyst has yet detected, tremors triggered not by economics but by celestial decree. For Uriel now shows me that the spiritual shift initiated on November 27, 2025 did not simply tilt the balance of the stock world, it fractured the invisible architecture that institutions relied upon for decades, and every moment since that divine rupture, invisible forces have been rearranging the flow of wealth, exposing weak foundations, amplifying the strength of destiny-coded souls, and pulling apart the illusions that once held the market in a deceptive trance. And Uriel declares with blazing authority that Elon Musk, unknowingly walking in the slipstream of divine timing, is about to unleash a move that will accelerate this unraveling at a speed the world has never witnessed, a move that will feel to ordinary humans like chaos but to awakened souls will feel like prophecy unfolding in real time. My child, Uriel shows me a vision of Musk seated alone in a dark room filled with screens, some glowing with data, some flickering with patterns, some displaying information he barely understands consciously, because beneath the numbers, beneath the analytics, beneath the logic, there is a spiritual pulse vibrating through the algorithms themselves, guiding his thoughts, steering his instincts, pushing him toward a decision that will echo like thunder across global finance, and as he makes this move, I see a spiritual shockwave tearing through Wall Street like a blade of lightning, splitting open the false stability of corporations built on manipulation, exposing the rotting skeletons of industries that thrived on imbalance, and causing the old financial gods, the institutions, the funds, the monopolies, the silent controllers, to tremble, collapse, and scatter like dust, while at the same moment, a golden vortex opens beneath a different group of souls, pulling them upward, elevating them, aligning them, preparing them to be carried by the new flow of wealth that heaven is releasing into the world. My child, Uriel reveals that this event, this celestial financial inversion, is not happening to punish the world but to cleanse it, to separate illusion from truth, to distinguish manipulation from purpose, and during this cleansing, the flow of abundance will bypass the corrupt and move toward those whose spirits resonate with alignment, awakening, and intuition, and you, my child, stand among them, not because of luck or privilege but because your soul has been vibrating at the frequency of awakening long before this shift occurred, and heaven has marked you as one who must witness, understand, and benefit from this cosmic turning. And now, Uriel shows me another vision, traders shouting, screens flashing, markets behaving erratically, analysts confused, predictions failing, institutions scrambling, because the spiritual laws that once held the market together have been rewritten, and the physical world is struggling to catch up, and while the masses panic, Uriel whispers that those who see with spiritual eyes, those who hear divine intuition, will recognize that chaos is not destruction but creation, the birth of a new era, the rearranging of destiny, the rebalancing of wealth. My child, Uriel declares that Musk's next move will expose hidden cracks in companies everyone once believed were unbreakable, while at the same time shining divine light on industries that were ignored, underestimated, or mocked, and these unexpected sectors will rise, not because of human strategy but because heaven has chosen them as vessels of transformation, and you will feel this guidance inside you as an instinct, a nudge, a pull, A whisper you cannot explain logically, and it will not be fear-based or rushed. It will feel like clarity, like alignment, like revelation, because heaven is preparing your intuition to operate as your compass during this financial awakening. And now the angels gather around Uriel as he points his torch toward the timeline of 2025 and beyond, revealing that the shock waves triggered today will continue unfolding in layers, dimensions, and waves, each one exposing a new level of corruption while unlocking a new level of opportunity for the awakened. And in the next continuation I deliver, I will reveal the symbols and signs you will see in the physical world as confirmation that the divine reset has begun, the hidden mechanics behind Musk's spiritual alignment, and the extraordinary destiny heaven is preparing to place into your hands as the world transitions into the new era of financial consciousness. And now, my child, as the celestial frequencies roar like galaxies grinding against each other during the birth of a new universe, Archangel Uriel lifts his blazing torch so high that the heavens themselves bend toward its light, and he reveals that the shift triggered on November 27, 2025 is expanding across the world like an invisible tsunami, a spiritual shockwave that has already begun infiltrating data streams, intuition fields, and subconscious minds, forcing humanity into a silent awakening. No analyst, billionaire, or economist is prepared to face, for Uriel shows me that the divine reset is no longer coming, it has already been activated, and Elon Musk, guided by forces far beyond logic, is about to release the next trigger that will accelerate this transformation at a terrifying and miraculous pace. My child, Uriel now pulls back the veil that hides the interconnected machinery of global finance, showing me the spiritual circuitry that runs beneath stocks, industries, markets, and currencies, circuitry that has been clogged, polluted, manipulated, and siphoned by forces that operated in secrecy, turning human fear into profit, turning confusion into power, turning illusions into wealth. But heaven has shattered those conduits, cutting off the spiritual oxygen feeding the corrupted system, and Wall Street's brightest minds will soon realize that their models, predictions, and algorithms no longer function, because the spiritual rules that govern the game have been overridden by divine decree. And Elon Musk, through intuition, dreams, impulses, and sudden clarity, will act as the unwitting key that unlocks the collapse of the old and the rise of the new. My child, Uriel reveals that Musk's next move will not be a simple business choice or corporate announcement, it will be a catalyst encoded with spiritual energy, a vibration that will crash into Wall Street like a meteor of divine purpose, annihilating weak companies built on illusion, exposing manipulation that was hidden beneath polished reports, and triggering a chain reaction that will leave institutional giants scrambling to understand how their dominance evaporated overnight, while smaller innovators, forgotten sectors, and destiny-coded individuals rise into positions of influence with astonishing speed, and the world will call it chaos, disaster, unpredictability. But you, my child, will know it is prophecy, because heaven has been preparing your spirit for this moment long before you even understood the magnitude of your calling. And now Uriel shows me a vision of the energy grid that surrounds you, your aura expanding like a golden storm, your intuition sharpening like a blade of truth, your mind awakening to signals that others will miss, because heaven has turned you into a receiver of divine intelligence, a soul capable of navigating the shift with clarity while the rest of the world reacts in confusion. And Uriel declares that when Musk makes his move, you will feel a surge in your chest, a spiritual jolt, an awakening pulse that will confirm the prophecy is unfolding exactly as heaven intended. And after that moment, the flow of wealth will begin diverting toward souls who are aligned with destiny rather than fear. My child, Uriel reveals that the days following Musk's divine trigger will be marked by strange market behaviors, unpredictable spikes, unexplained drops, sudden reversals, bizarre patterns that no analysis can explain, because the market will be responding to spiritual pressure, not human logic. And while others panic, sell, doubt, and flee, your intuition will whisper truth, guiding you through the divine corridor opening beneath the surface, a corridor that will not remain open indefinitely but will provide a rare window for spiritual elevation, abundance, and transformation. And now Uriel brings forth the final image of this chapter. A golden serpent shedding its skin atop the ruins of Wall Street's old illusions. Rising anew with wings of fire, symbolizing the rebirth of financial consciousness, the end of corruption, and the beginning of a new era where wealth follows alignment instead of manipulation. And you, my child, have been chosen to witness this transition not as a victim of chaos but as a participant in destiny, a soul marked by heaven to navigate the shift with divine clarity. And in the next continuation I deliver, Uriel will reveal the chronological sequence of signs you will see on Earth. The energetic symptoms that will confirm the reset's progress, and the extraordinary elevation being prepared for your spirit as the world enters the new financial age. And now, my child, as the veil between realms thins to the width of a single breath and the cosmic sky glows with spiraling patterns of energy that have not appeared for thousands of years, Archangel Uriel steps into the heart of the astral storm with wings unfurled like blazing comets, and he declares that the great shift, the one whispered about in the hidden books of prophecy, has now entered its second phase, reshaping not the markets of Earth, but the very energetic blueprint of the fictional world known as the astral exchange, a realm where spiritual currents, not numbers, determine the rise and fall of empires. And Uriel reveals that Elon, the fictional, mythic version of the figure you know, has become the unwitting vessel through which this shift will anchor, for he has touched a fragment of the celestial core, an artifact of unimaginable power that decodes the frequencies of destiny. And the moment his consciousness brushed against it, a surge of astral intelligence entered his mind, aligning him with the divine architecture of change. And Uriel shows me a vision of glowing constellations folding into themselves, forming symbols that pulse with golden fire, symbols representing the collapse of old astral hierarchies and the rise of a new era where truth, clarity, and alignment govern the flow of spiritual wealth. My child, Uriel reveals that the astral exchange, the great fictional engine that powers the abundance of the 12 realms, has begun cracking. From the inside, its corrupted channels collapsing, its dark conduits dissolving, its illusions breaking like glass beneath the weight of divine justice. And as this collapse unfolds, the fictional Elon, guided by heaven's unintentional whisper, prepares to trigger the cosmic reversal, a phenomenon that will redirect the rivers of astral abundance away from the shadow elites of the upper citadel and toward the awakened souls whose spirits vibrate with truth, courage, and purpose. And you, my child, stand among them, your aura glowing like a phoenix rising through starlit winds, for your spirit has aligned with the frequency of the new order long before you consciously realized it. And now Uriel shows me a swirling vortex of golden energy forming above the astral exchange, expanding with every breath, every heartbeat, every passing moment. For the moment the cosmic reversal ignites, the entire fictional world will tremble as old power structures crumble, kingdoms built on deception fall into silence, and new pathways of abundance emerge like rivers cutting through mountains, flowing toward those who have remained pure in intention, steady in spirit, and aligned with divine timing. My child, Uriel declares that you are not merely a witness to this transformation, you are a participant, a chosen conduit whose rising intuition will guide you through the astral flow as it reshapes the destiny of millions across the 12 realms. And as the fictional Elon activates the celestial core, a blast of radiant force will ripple across dimensions, awakening dormant abilities within you, sharpening your inner vision, strengthening your spiritual senses, and expanding your capacity to receive astral abundance without the interference of shadow forces. And the astral beings who once watched silently from the edges of the realm now rise in awe of your transformation. For they know you are entering the era of ascension where nothing, not fear, not deception, not shadow, can hold back the expansion of a soul aligned with cosmic truth. My child, the winds of prophecy are accelerating, and in the next continuation I deliver, Uriel will reveal the signs, symbols, celestial markers, and astral shifts that will appear across the fictional universe as proof that the cosmic reversal has begun, and the extraordinary role you will play as the 12 realms enter their greatest awakening in 1,000 ages. And now, my child, as the astral realms churn like 1,000 galaxies twisting into a single beam of golden annihilation, Archangel Uriel steps forward with a force so overwhelming that even the ancient titans of the ether bow their heads before his radiance, and he reveals that the cosmic reversal you have been witnessing from the edge of awakening has now entered its most ferocious phase, tearing apart the old spiritual circuits of the 12 realms and rewiring the entire astral economy into a frequency never experienced by mortal or divine beings before. For Uriel shows me a vision of the celestial core, that legendary artifact of infinite knowledge, glowing brighter in the fictional Elon's grasp, sending ripples of illuminated shockwaves across dimensions, breaking the false prosperity webs of the shadow citadel, and activating the long-dormant ley lines of destiny that now surge beneath your feet like golden rivers awakened after centuries of silence. My child, Uriel declares that the moment the core connected with Elon's consciousness, a chain reaction began that cannot be stopped, not by shadow kings, not by corrupted astral bankers, not by illusion makers of the old order, for the core has recognized the shift in the collective cosmic vibration and chosen to anchor its truth in the rising hearts of souls like yours who can carry this new frequency without breaking. And Uriel shows me you standing in the center of the astral exchange as its glass towers crumble in slow motion, dissolving into stardust, while around you new crystalline structures rise from the ruins, built not from greed or manipulation but from alignment, intuition, and cosmic law. And now Uriel reveals the deepest layer of this prophecy, that the fictional Elon has unintentionally awakened an ancient celestial mechanism known as the trihelix pulse, a spiraling current of truth energy that travels through every realm, exposing deception, burning away shadows, collapsing false timelines, and opening pathways that were sealed since the first dawn of creation. And this pulse, now unleashed, races toward the astral thrones where the old gatekeepers sit, shattering their illusions and draining the power they hoarded for eons, while simultaneously amplifying the spiritual strength of destiny bearers like you who have been chosen to guide the next era. My child, Uriel shows me that as the pulse spreads, the auric fields of millions begin to flicker, but few glow. And yours is among the ones that shine like a blazing phoenix, rising higher with every heartbeat, every breath, every moment of alignment, because you were designed to survive this transition, to rise through it, to command the astral currents rather than be drowned by them. And Uriel whispers that the fictional Elon's next action, whether guided knowingly or unknowingly, will send the pulse into its final ignition, a cosmic detonation that will erase the last remnants of the shadow citadel's control and mark the beginning of the age of illumined abundance, a time when the astral exchange becomes not a prison of manipulation but a flowing river of pure potential accessible only to those whose souls resonate with truth. My child, Uriel now reveals an image of the sky splitting open over the central realm, releasing cascades of light that fall like celestial rain, awakening sacred symbols etched into the land, activating dormant star portals, and summoning ancient guardians, whose oath was to protect the chosen during the great shift. And as these guardians rise, they turn their gaze toward you, recognizing you not merely as a witness of prophecy but as one who will wield the new astral frequency with mastery, guiding others through the chaos that follows rebirth. For every world that is reborn must first pass through turmoil, and the 12 realms will shake with the intensity of this transition. But your spirit will not tremble, because Uriel's flame has already fused with your destiny. My child, in the next continuation I deliver, Uriel will reveal the final layer, the cosmic symbols that will appear as confirmation, the astral beings who will approach you, the awakening of your inner gifts, and the extraordinary throne of power your soul is being prepared to ascend within the new era of the astral realms. And now, my child, as the astral realms convulse under the expanding weight of the cosmic reversal and the skies of the 12 dimensions tear open like veils ripped by the fingers of eternity, Archangel Uriel's blazing form descends deeper into the storm of shifting timelines, his torch erupting with spirals of white-hot celestial fire that coil and uncoil like serpents of awakening light, dissolving the last remaining anchors of the old order and revealing the hidden machinery of destiny that has been dormant for millennia. And Uriel declares with a thunderous vibration that the fictional Elon, now bonded with the celestial core, has triggered the next stage of the Great Awakening, the astral divergence, a cosmic bifurcation where two realities begin to separate, the reality of illusion collapsing into dust and the reality of truth rising in luminous spirals that twist upward toward the crown of creation. And Uriel shows me how the divergence begins as invisible wind, subtle at first, then violent, tearing apart the astral exchange's corrupted circuits and leaving behind a glowing lattice of pure divine geometry, pulsing like the heartbeat of a newborn universe. And he reveals that your aura, my child, has become magnetically linked to this lattice, drawing into your spirit the knowledge, power, and insights that only awakened souls can withstand. For as the divergence intensifies, most beings will feel disoriented, scattered, fragmented, unable to comprehend the shifting energy, but you will feel clarity rising, power strengthening, intuition sharpening, because your soul vibrates in harmony with the new cosmic frequency. And now Uriel reveals that the trihelix pulse ignited earlier has collided with the divergence, creating a rare celestial phenomenon known as the Golden Rift, a dimensional rupture that allows streams of forbidden wisdom, ancient prophecies, astral codes, and dormant abilities to spill into the consciousness of chosen souls. And I see beams of liquid gold descending like comets, striking the fictional Elon's form as he stands atop the shattered towers of the old exchange, his eyes glowing with encoded visions only angels once understood. And as the Golden Rift expands, the shadow citadel, once feared across the realms, begins to crumble, its black pillars turning transparent, its illusions evaporating, its stolen power returning to the cosmic sea from where it came. And Uriel whispers that this destruction is not chaos, but cleansing, the purging of energy that held the 12 realms hostage in the name of control, fear, and deception. My child, Uriel now places his hand upon the cosmic fabric and pulls it aside like a curtain, revealing the Aurora Gate, a colossal structure of radiant energy that has begun forming directly above your destiny path, shimmering with fractal wings and spiraling runes that pulse in rhythm with your heartbeat. And he declares that the Aurora Gate appears only once every 1,000 ages, only during the great shifts, and only for those whose spirits are destined to ascend into the next cycle of cosmic leadership. For the gate is the threshold between who you were and who you are becoming, between your old limitations and your new power, between the reality shaped by others and the reality shaped by divine frequency. And as the gate stabilizes, I see astral guardians emerging from within, tall, luminous beings with armor forged from concentrated stardust, stepping forward to kneel before you, for they recognize the signature of your soul, the light you carry, the prophecy encoded in your spirit long before your birth. And they swear allegiance not to your past self, but to the awakened identity you are becoming. And now Uriel reveals that your inner essence has begun to synchronize with the divergence, meaning that soon you will begin experiencing flashes of precognitive insight, surges of intuition, awakenings of dormant talents, and expanding perception that allows you to sense energetic truths behind every illusion. And he warns that the astral realms will shake even more violently in the days ahead, as old structures collapse and new ones emerge, but you will stand untouched within the eye of the storm, guided by Uriel's flame, protected by the guardians, and empowered by the Golden Rift's infusion, for your destiny is no longer tied to the old systems. It is tied to the new era being forged from the ashes of the cosmic upheaval. And in the next continuation I deliver, Uriel will reveal the final trial, the awakening of your celestial gift, and the moment your soul steps through the Aurora Gate into the realm of awakened mastery. And now, my child, as the 12 realms quake beneath the titanic force of the astral divergence and the celestial winds spiral into a vortex that stretches from the roots of the nether realms to the highest chambers of the eternal crown, Archangel Uriel rises through the shifting currents with wings blazing like collapsing suns, and he declares that the great shift has now reached the point of no return. For the old cosmic scaffolding that once held the astral exchange together has shattered into shards of dissolved illusion, and the entire universe trembles as the new order emerges from its chrysalis, shedding centuries of darkness in a single breath of radiant annihilation. My child, Uriel reveals that the fictional Elon, still bonded to the celestial core, has now begun channeling the rift stream, a sacred torrent of golden plasma that holds fragments of divine intelligence older than the stars themselves, and as it pours through him, the astral sky ignites with spiraling arcs of luminescent fire, forming patterns that encode the next era of cosmic law, and Uriel shows me how these patterns ripple across entire worlds, altering landscapes, waking dormant mountains, expanding oceans of pure ether, and causing entire civilizations to sense the awakening as a wave of invisible light that vibrates through their bones. And now Uriel whispers the deepest revelation of all. The aurora gate that appeared above your path has begun to expand, growing larger with every passing heartbeat, its fractal wings stretching far beyond the borders of your fate, reaching toward the rift stream itself, for the gate has recognized you as one of the chosen resonance, souls whose inner frequency matches the pulse of the new cosmic age, souls who carry within them the dormant blueprint of ascended mastery, souls who can walk through chaos untouched because their light is stronger than the storm. And as the gate expands, Uriel reveals that the astral guardians who kneeled before you are not mere protectors, but ancient beings called the Luminarch Sentinels, forged in the first dawn of the universe from the essence of collapsing stars, and they now stand in formation around you, forming a spiraling shield of celestial armor that repels every shadow, every distorted echo of the old order, every fragment of corrupted energy still clinging to the dissolving citadel. My child, Uriel now draws your awareness to the sky, where a colossal fissure of golden lightning splits open the heavens, revealing the chronohalo, a multi-ringed sphere of radiant time energy that appears only when a soul steps into their destiny phase, and the halo's rings begin rotating around you, faster and faster, each ring infused with a unique layer of cosmic memory, the memory of who you once were, who you are now, and who you were always destined to become, until the rings blur into a single vortex of shimmering timelines, and within this vortex, Uriel shows me your future self. Standing tall and undefeated atop a crystalline platform that floats above a reformed astral exchange, your aura expanded beyond recognition, your eyes glowing with awakened sight, your presence radiant enough to bend astral currents with nothing but a thought. And now Uriel speaks again, his voice shaking the foundations of reality, revealing that the fictional Elon is not the architect of this shift, he is merely the catalyst. For the true transformation resides within you, within your awakened resonance, within the spiritual pulse that ignited when the gate recognized your soul, and Uriel declares that the moment the divergence stabilizes, you will face the final trial, a convergence of inner shadows, astral echoes, ancestral codes, and cosmic forces that will either transform you into a being of ascended authority or dissolve you back into the frequency of the unawakened. But he smiles. For he knows you have already crossed the threshold, already aligned with the fate the universe has carved for you, already chosen by the celestial core, already marked by the aurora gate, and already protected by the Luminarch Sentinels. My child, the storm grows louder, the rift stream glows brighter, and the new era calls your name with a roar that echoes across dimensions. And in the next continuation I deliver, Uriel will reveal the final trial, the awakening of your celestial gift, and the moment when the aurora gate will open fully, inviting you to step into the realm of cosmic mastery where only the destined may walk. And now, my child, as the fabric of the astral realm stretches to its breaking point and the great celestial winds whip across the multiverse like serpents of molten starlight, Archangel Uriel rises with a force so overwhelming that even the eternal thrones tremble at his emergence, his wings casting shadows upon constellations that have existed since the birth of time. And he declares with blazing authority that the great shift has entered the most dangerous and magnificent phase of all, the phase where destiny itself becomes fluid, where the boundaries between possibility and reality dissolve into swirling cosmic vapor, where the aurora gate pulses like the heartbeat of a newborn universe and the divergence shakes the 12 realms to their very core, and Uriel reveals that the fictional Elon, still bound to the celestial core, has passed beyond mere mortal consciousness and now walks within the liminal expanse, a plane between existence and transcendence where only chosen vessels may step, and as he walks through fields of shimmering time runes, the core feeds him visions of the new era forming from the ashes of the old, its golden rivers weaving through shattered astral structures, reforming them into fractal temples that respond to thought instead of matter. My child, Uriel now lifts the veil on the final convergence, a moment long foretold in forbidden scrolls etched by the first angels, a moment when every energy, light, shadow, memory, destiny, and forgotten timelines collide into a single vortex that spirals beneath the aurora gate like a cosmic whirlpool, and from this vortex rises an immense cosmic entity known as the Ecliptian Archon, a guardian of transitions whose duty is to test the worth of souls stepping into higher realms, and Uriel reveals that this Archon has already turned its gaze toward you, sensing the resonance within your spirit, recognizing that your frequency has evolved beyond the limitations of your former self, identifying you as one who will soon wield the very energies that once frightened entire civilizations, and as the Archon approaches, the Luminarch sentinels gather around you in a circle of glowing stardust armor, their blades humming with celestial resonance, for they know that the final trial is near, a confrontation not with monsters of shadow or creatures of the abyss, but with the deepest fragments of your own unfinished timelines, echoes of who you might have been, reflections of choices you never made, spectral versions of yourself shaped by fear rather than destiny, and these echoes rise like astral phantoms, circling you, attempting to pull you back into the frequencies of doubt, hesitation, and limitation, but Uriel's torch burns brighter, slicing through the illusions and dissolving them into clouds of shimmering dust. My child, the fictional Elon's presence within the liminal expanse amplifies the trihelix pulse, causing time itself to ripple, bending around you like molten gold. And every heartbeat sends a wave of energy into the multiverse, rewriting your timeline, reawakening dormant memories of your soul's ancient journey, for you once walked among starborn beings as an initiate of the Phoenix Order, a lineage sworn to uphold cosmic truth during the great shifts, and as this memory resurfaces, your aura ignites into a swirling inferno of sapphire and gold, causing the aurora gate to vibrate with ecstatic anticipation of your ascension. And now Uriel reveals that the final trial is not meant to destroy you but to unleash you, to awaken the celestial gift hidden deep within your spirit, a gift encoded at your birth, locked away until the moment your soul aligned with the frequency of mastery, and that moment, my child, is now, for the gate begins to open wider, its crystalline wings unfolding with symphonic resonance, singing a song so ancient and so powerful that even the stars pause to listen, and within its opening emerges a path of pure luminous energy, leading into the realm of ascended truth, where only those marked by destiny may enter. My child, the universe holds its breath, the sentinels kneel, the Archon watches, and Uriel stands behind you with his torch raised high, preparing to speak the final revelation that will initiate your transformation. And in the next continuation I deliver, he will reveal the true nature of your celestial gift, the shape of the power waiting within you, and the moment you will step through the aurora gate into the domain of awakened mastery beyond anything the 12 realms have ever witnessed.